What's going on, everybody? Solomon here. So I wanted to do a video today, and I've been meaning to do this for a while, about what we've been seeing across the board as far as the rhetoric that's being thrown out in regards to a global reset, and kind of just what's going on across the board as well with geopolitical events and the economy and what everybody's been dealing with this year. And I think that there's a lot here. I'm not going to make this hypey. I'm not going to make this overly speculative. I'm just going to present what I find. For those of you that know me, I've been doing this research for about 2 years, and there's a lot here. If you see an ad on this video to send crypto, please don't do that. That's a scam. Now, today we had an announcement, a publication, I should say, for the future of retail payments in the United States from Governor Lael Brainard. And this is about FedNow, okay? This is big, people. This does play into what's happening from a digital standpoint, from an instant standpoint as far as payments are concerned. And actually, this is settlement. So this is 24/7, 365 interbank settlement service with clearing functionality to support instant payments in the United States. If you don't even know what FedNow is, please look up what FedNow is. It's a huge initiative going on across the board. This is the entire document. Now, I kind of do a Cliff Notes section here, and we can see there's a couple of things to pay attention to. And I personally don't believe that XRP or Ripple are going to be utilized for FedNow. However, I do believe 100% that whether it be through interledger protocol or whatever it be through in a single API connection or ISO 20022, whatever, that RippleNet will be able to connect into the FedNow system. Now, we see here the Federal Reserve is committed to using widely accepted standards in designing the FedNow service to aid in accomplishing the key goals of achieving nationwide reach for instant payments and promoting interoperability. Interoperability is key, people, with the existing private sector service. Now, this existing private sector service they're talking about is real-time payments through the clearinghouse, okay? It's not Ripple. They're talking about the clearinghouse. To support these goals, the service will use the widely accepted ISO 20022 standard, and I will go over that in a second, and adopt other industry best practices that would remove barriers to interoperability in order to avoid unnecessary and burdensome incompatibilities to the extent the existing private sector service also uses publicly available, widely accepted standards. Okay, great. Now, this was interesting to me too. They do talk about alias-based payments, the ability to send payments to a receiver based solely on public identifiers or aliases of the receiver without a sender having to know the bank account number of the receiver. And this made me think very much so of what Unstoppable Domains is doing. If you haven't checked them out, I'll put the link down in my description. Basically, if you have a .com address, it's very similar to what happened during the .com boom, except .crypto domains simplify everything. So if you don't even have crypto right now, just to give you a brief explanation, you have your public address, you have a private key. You have to basically copy and paste this extremely long digit of numbers just to be able to send money anywhere. Now, .crypto, if I wanted to put KingSolomon.crypto and you knew my domain name, you could just send me it, but just by knowing KingSolomon.crypto. So this alias thing was interesting to me. I'm not saying that this is tied in at all. Obviously, it's not, but it's the way that everything's going from an easier, a more simplified, and a more streamlined process as far as payments and settlement are concerned. Now, they do talk about cryptocurrency in this, at least in his speech he does. He talks about Libra. He talks about being committed to building an instant payment system that delivers upon payment speed, etc. Now, this talks about Libra and then goes directly into the Federal Reserve remains optimistic about the power of technology and innovation to deliver payments safely, immediately, and efficiently when the appropriate safeguards are in place. And that sounds a bit to me like they're obviously going to be doing that for their own system, but that sounds to me like digital assets, just speculation here with regulatory clarity and custody solutions as well. Now, we can see down here, hold on, I think I skipped. Wait, there we go. There's a statement here. In particular, stakeholders recommended that the Federal Reserve explore and assess the need for an operational role in instant payments and develop a 24/7 365 settlement service to support such payments. And that is flag note 5 there. Now, this sentiment was echoed by the U.S. Treasury, flag note 6. If you follow flag note 6, this is this U.S. Department of the Treasury, a financial system that creates economic opportunities, non-bank financials, fintech, and innovation. This was the report to President Donald J. Trump, Executive Order 13772 on core principles for regulating the United States financial system. And we can see here, if you can see it, these are the participants in the executive order engagement process. We've got multiple legacy financial institution systems, some of the largest bigwigs in the world as far as finance, such as Vanguard, and we've got R3, and we have Ripple right in there. So that's extremely interesting to me. Now, if you're not aware, the FedNow service, they announced that they're going to be utilizing the ISO 20022 guidelines that are being put in place. If you're also not aware, Ripple is the first distributed ledger technology company to have joined the ISO board. So shaping the future of cross-border payments, this is Ripple joining ISO 20022, June 10th, 2020. If you don't know what ISO 20022 is, it's an emerging global and open standard for payments messaging, okay? This is right on Swift's website. Swift basically handles the messaging for every payment made in the world through banks. It creates a common language and model for payments data across the globe. One that provides higher quality data than all other standards, which means higher quality payments for all. One that can adapt to new needs and approaches. One that's not controlled by a single interest, and one that can be used by anybody in the industry and implemented on any network. We can see the ISO 20022 timeline, and we're going to be getting into the global reset, globalization rhetoric here in a second. Again, I'm just going to give my opinions on what's going on. So RTGS renewal in the UK will go live in early 22. This is the Bank of England's updated real-time gross settlement system, which we know from previous videos that I've done will interoperate with distributed ledger technology and be able to connect. We also know they've done a trial with Interledger Protocol and RippleNet. Now, Bank of England goes live in 2022. Swift announces that they will deactivate their legacy payments messaging standard by 2025 and go fully into ISO 20022. So ISO 20022, the deadline across the board is 2025. That's whenever it ends. And just to touch a little bit of base on what I've seen through all my research, there are key dates involved with what's happening across the board, and nobody's seeing what's happening, especially the masses, because they're not paying attention, because we've obviously been dealing with what we're dealing with this year, and there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, but all the news is still there if you're willing to look at it, and hopefully this provides some insight, the rest of this video, as to what's actually going on, okay? 2025 and 2030 have major global initiatives, though, that are tied to green economy, that are tied to carbon-free economy, that are tied to digitization, that are tied to, in my opinion, digital assets, biometrics, all this stuff, okay? Digital ID, all this stuff. Now, since we just touched base on FedNow, this is Jess Chang. This is a picture here with her in the IMF. That's Christine Lagarde back there. That's Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple. And she works directly for FedNow. She's a senior counsel at the Federal Reserve Board. I went over this in a previous video. Right before the Federal Reserve Board, she was a counsel at the International Monetary Fund. International Monetary Fund provides a basket of currencies for the entire world, okay? I think it's the top 5 currencies, I believe. But I'm not going over into that directly right now, okay? And then she was Deputy General Counsel at Ripple from September 2015 through September 2018. So she went from the Federal Reserve Bank to Ripple, to the IMF, to the Federal Reserve Board. And now she's working on FedNow. We obviously know that Ripple is also a member of the Faster Payments Task Force, and that they've contributed and commented on FedNow as well. Now, this was just 4 or 5 days ago here, about a week ago, but this is Ripple responding to the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. We would like to thank the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. If you don't know what the OCC is, the Officer of the Comptroller of the Currency, he is basically the main banking regulator of all the banks in the entire United States. He controls the banks in the U.S. He dictates rules. The OCC just announced probably 2 weeks ago that now federal banks are allowed to custody cryptocurrency. This plays into the rhetoric, people. This is where everything's going. We would like to thank the OCC for the opportunity to comment on the advance notice to propose rulemaking regarding digital activities of national banks and federal savings associations. Now, they do talk about XRP in here. I'm not going to go overly into that. This is going to be more of a general overview of what's happening across the globe. This is the World Economic Forum, people, okay? This was about a month and a half, 2 months ago. This was back June 3rd, 2020. Now is the time for a great reset, okay? And this is you can go to this website. This is open source. This is open access for you all. It's all the same rhetoric. COVID-19 has accelerated India's digital reset. We see it across the board here, people. They're going digital. Everybody's going digital. This is the IMF. In response to the World Economic Forum, this is Christina Georgieva, managing director at the IMF. Talking about second, let me talk about smarter growth. We all know the digital economy is the big winner of this crisis. We must not allow the digital divide to widen so that some countries and communities fall further behind. This is an inclusive effort, people. This is about level playing field. Partially. That's what they want you to believe that it's about. It is about level playing field from a payments standpoint, a settlement standpoint. It's about banking the unbanked, but really it's about getting everybody in the world on one system to control. I mean, that's common sense, right? You really trust a government once everybody's in the same system not to control it. Don't care. It's just my opinion on it, but a little bit of common sense. This would bring more pain than gain in the future. IMF will shrink the digital divide. Think carefully to make sure the jump in growth and profitability in the digital sector leads to benefits that are shared across societies. Now, this is again WEF. This is just about the global reset and the Great Reset, a unique twin summit to begin 2021. Multiple financial institutions here. I believe this is in January of 2021, so I'll be paying attention to that. This is the same rhetoric across the board. Now we've got all the stuff that the mainstream media wants to see here that they're playing, and now they're getting into the rhetoric that they want to use for the Great Reset. They're talking about a green economy, the state of the world, et cetera, et cetera. And, that's all great. But if you actually really look into what all inclusiveness is, green economy, carbon free, all this stuff, it gets pretty scary because, I don't know, my opinion is there's going to be a ton of money to be made in digital assets and in some other emerging markets that are part of this initiative to go digital. But like I said before, I do believe that this all leads to additional control, which is a little bit scary. So now this is Ripple. They just retweeted this again today. This is about the environmental impact, cryptocurrency mining versus consensus. And you can see down here, there was an interesting little thing in here. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Otherwise, I'm just going to move on. 2018 study discovered that the hundreds of thousands of computers that work 24 hours a day to solve cryptographic puzzles and earn Bitcoin consumed 1.5 times the yearly energy consumption of Ireland. And we all know that as the hash rate goes up, the algorithms, and as the halvings occur, that the algorithms get harder, mining gets harder, and electricity consumption goes up. This is Finastra joins the World Economic Forum. This happened Monday, 2nd of December, 2019. Again, talking about breaking down industry silos, fostering financial inclusions, forum initiatives such as shaping the future of the digital economy, new value creation, the future of financial and monetary systems, the future of trade and global economic interdependence, and particularly connected to Finastra's mission. Finastra, as we all know, just announced that they are going to be utilizing or allow their customers to utilize XRP through on-demand liquidity. Fantastic. I'm not saying that this entire thing is about XRP. I'm saying this entire thing is about the rhetoric that is leaving out the control portion. but it is about digitalization. It's about inclusion, and digital assets play a gigantic role in this great reset. And I do not want you guys to miss out on what is happening clearly if you're willing to look. If you watch mainstream news, you don't see any of this. These big institutions are putting out the information. They're putting it out on their websites through press, not even press releases so much, but discussions. And it's the same rhetoric that happens. And most people, 99% of people, are 100% going to miss what is happening. And this quote unquote digitalization revamp, so I don't even want to call it a great reset, is going to make a ton of people rich, and a ton of people are going to lose their asses on this. Now, this came out. This is a huge document, 356 pages. I've seen this before. I wanted to share it with you guys. I usually only post links to Patreon. I'm going to post all the links to Patreon, but except for all of them, but this one. I will post this one directly on to YouTube so you guys can see. It's a fascinating report. It's in Gold We Trust. Talks about the dawning of a golden decade. You can even look through the table of contents here. Status quo of gold. It talks about the decline of the dollar, the decline of fiat actually in general. De-dollarization, the end game has begun. It talks about attaching tokens, gold-backed tokens. It's a great document. It's very long, but there's a ton of info in here, and I'll share it with you guys on YouTube, okay? We look at gold. Gold is at an all-time high, and who knows if it's going to stop, because, I mean, I don't think that the powers that be, the people that have money, think that this market and the stock market are actually where it is at right now. The Fed has been propping it up for the past 4 months to a greater extent than it dwarfs what happened in 2008, 2009. So again, we see more digitization rhetoric. This is the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. Released new consultation introducing a set of principles and operational resilience for the banking sector. Okay, this talks about technology-based services provided by third parties. I mean, Bank for International Settlements, or this is still be a Basel Committee. This is the full document here, okay? We can see third-party providers here. In addition, business continuity, outsourcing of services to third parties, and the technology upon which they rely are important factors for banks to consider when strengthening their operational resilience. Digital Banking 2025, just going over the 2025 date there. This is a Forbes article put out, The End of Cash and the Age of Crypto Coming by 2030. Take that with a grain of salt. It's going to be what it's going to be, people. There's going to be winners. I did want to present this to you because they don't want you to make money in this space. They don't want you to know what is coming. They just want you to see the news, be scared, stay inside your house, whatever. And I get it. We all do need to operate under a certain level of caution, okay? But there's other initiatives going on in the world that aren't just dealing with what we've all dealt with since March here, okay? Especially in the US. And for obviously China, December, January timeframe. But this is in 2017. And if you were here during this time frame, JP Morgan was telling the company was basically stating, Jamie Dimon, the CEO at that time, I'm sure he still is, was stating that he was going to fire anybody that was buying Bitcoin, okay? Now come to find out about 9 months later, during that entire time, they were buying Bitcoin exchange traded notes, okay? And now we all know that JP Morgan has JPM coins. So don't listen to what they are telling you. Follow what they are doing and actually do a little bit of digging on your own because, like I said, there's money to be made. This is today. This is cutting off the American dollar. Russia and China move towards a financial alliance. And if you're not aware, Russia and China, they're a part of BRICS, obviously, but they are trying to bypass the SWIFT system as well. And they're trying to basically devalue the dollar by moving away from it. The US dollar is basically used in the entire global economy as the one fiat currency that is able to be utilized anywhere, okay? I've said it before, but the rhetoric is, if the US sneezes, the world catches a cold, and that's true. So Russia and China are moving away, and we get into China here in a second too. China is very much so deep into their central bank digital currency, as are probably every other nation in the entire world, okay? This was today, China's major banks start internal testing of their digital wallet application. This is from Shanghai. China's major state-run commercial banks are conducting large-scale internal testing of a digital wallet application, moving a step closer to the official launch of a homegrown digital currency. This should I hope that this video is making you people wake up, because this news happens daily, okay? I don't try to even capture some of the geopolitical stuff. I focus on XRP on my channel and in my research most of the time, but I see this every single week and almost every single day. They are making moves behind the scenes, people. They are going digital whether you want to or not, whether you like the implications or not. It's happening whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter, because they don't care. They never have, and they're not going to. They're going to talk about something that levels the playing field for people that are less fortunate. They're going to talk about, speed and efficiency, which that part is true, but that is not the underlying reason for what is happening. Okay, that's my opinion. You can have your opinion if you want to. This was a Bank for International Settlements paper that came out in January, I believe. And this talks about impending arrival, a sequel to the survey on central bank digital currency. Another fascinating document. Again, I'll post this link to Patreon. If you guys want to check out my Patreon and become a patron, it's like $1 or $5 a month or whatever you want to give. It doesn't really matter. It just supports me and my research. I don't care if you do or not. I'm still presenting it to you right here. But it talks about advanced economies versus emerging market economies, and the motivations for issuing central bank digital currencies. And we can see the emerging market economies obviously have much more of a motivation to do so, because they want included into the global financial system, right? This is talking about negative interest rates. I see this almost daily as well. If you don't know what negative interest rates are, you better make yourself aware very quickly, because many rates across the board right now are damn near zero, and they've either went negative and they're back close to zero, or they're about to go negative again. And I don't know, maybe they don't. Who knows? Maybe they just keep finding a way to prop the system up. But negative interest rates for you and I don't even care what it means for the banks. But for you and I, it means if I hold $100 in my checking account or my savings account, that my $100 in a year, if I have a APR of negative 1%, my $100 is now worth $99 in a year. Okay, so you're paying a bank basically to hold your money. Okay, they're trying to remove you from holding money in that bank and put the money into the economy as quickly as possible, because the economy is crap, and it's in trouble, obviously. So this is Russia's Sberbank launches blockchain on Hyperledger and mulls a stablecoin issuance in 2021. Now, this was today too. This was the U.S. State Department announced that a great firewall for the U.S. is soon approaching, and I'm curious if this rhetoric goes away or not. So this is announcing the expansion of the Clean Network to safeguard America's assets, okay? The 5 new lines of the effort for the Clean Network. This is basically to remove the U.S. and to silo ourselves away from China. I don't know where this goes. I don't know how this goes, but I'll follow on it and make sure that I stay up to date on it. This is Clean Carrier to ensure entrusted People's Republic of China carriers are not connected with U.S. telecommunications networks. Such companies pose a danger to U.S. national security. Not provide international telecommunication services to and from the U.S. Clean Store to remove untrusted applications from U.S. mobile app stores. We can see what they just did with TikTok, right? Or what they're trying to do. I don't have TikTok, so I don't know. My daughter does, so I'll have to ask her. People's Republic of China apps threaten our privacy. This Clean apps to prevent untrusted Chinese smartphone manufacturers from pre-installing or otherwise making available for download apps. Clean Cloud. So this is crazy stuff, people. I mean, but it's happening. I don't know how far that goes. I don't know if that program is actually going to get adopted or not, but we will see. Again, digitization. This is from Banyan Hill. They're America's #1 source for smarter, safer, and more profitable investing. That's up for debate. I don't know. That reminds me of like world's greatest cup of coffee. Who knows? But same thing. This is talking about tokenization and real estate, and that is going to be happening very soon as well. So imagine a world where buying a house is just a click of a button. Blah, blah, blah. Same rhetoric across the board. All you have to do is look for it. Last but not least, and I hope that this video is informative, and I hope that you can understand what's happening from a digital perspective, and you can see a little bit of, from a general standpoint, what's actually going on, and maybe you're inspired to do a little bit more research on your own. Regardless, I'll still present these videos, but Japan's largest banks are Japan's large banks to look at building settlement system for small payments, cutting interbank fees. This was announced on Thursday, okay? This is Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, which is RippleNet, Mizuho, which I believe is SBI, and Sumitomo Mitsui, which is also SBI and part of the MoneyTap initiative, I believe, through their parent company. So we can see the rhetoric, people. We can see. I don't believe in this global reset, quote unquote, from a reset standpoint. But do I think that initiatives are happening to completely revamp the entire system to make it digital? Of course, I would be stupid not to say that because I see it every day when I research all this stuff, okay? So just really pay attention, people. Mainstream media is so convoluted and corrupt, and the news that you're getting is news that they want you to see, not news that you should be seeing. You're seeing what they want the 99% to see. You are not seeing what the 1% are seeing and researching on a daily basis either. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I may make a video tomorrow or I may not. Weekends are usually a little rough for me, but and I threw my back out yesterday. So enjoy your evening, everybody. Later.